What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Hall versus Strickland. Breakdown prediction, guys. Tough card. All the fights are pretty much close. So when we take a look at the odds, the fight should be all close, in my opinion, right? It looks like there's going to be the Bellator the same day, on Saturday. Usually Bellator is on Friday, but I guess the UFC and Bellator is going to be on the same day. So that's interesting, right? Yes, let's not this all real quick, guys. Jump right into it. A lot of fights were cancelled, and a couple of short notice fights here. But man, and I think they had like 14 fights on the card, or 15, and it went down to 11. So, all right, guys. So first fight here, we got Orion Koski versus Philip Rory. Orion here has a wrestling base, more of a grinder. He will look to throw heavy overhands though. He gets wild at times, so sometimes he throw his shots and miss, right? His mental game could be stronger than a Rory. He doesn't throw much volume though. He usually just winds up with overhands, right? But he's more mentally on though. So this fight right here, man, is a tough one, to be honest with you, because this one can go either way. Either way, man. He's coming out of Team Alpha Male right there. Philip Rory here, Fresh Prince. He's a pretty well-rounded guy, man. I mean, he fights long. I believe he's going to have a 9-inch of reach and 4-inch of height. That's freaking massive. He has an 80-inch reach, dude. So just that reach and height alone, man, he should most likely be able to win this fight. And his ground game is pretty decent in his submission games. He's a slow starter though, and but he will put it together. You know, he will eventually mix it up into the second. He will look for the submission. He will look for takedown, but he will gas out in the later rounds though. So that's something to look at. And at times he could be hittable. But the way how Orion fights, Orion throws a lot of wind-up shots, like wind-up overhands, right? And he usually miss. So, I mean, with freaking 9-inch of reach and 4-inch of height, I mean, if Philip can keep this fight on the outside, I mean, he has a ground game, so if he gets taken down, he should be able to can sprawl back up, scramble back up. He should be able to can pull off a submission too. So, this fight here, I had Orion winning first, and I switched it. So, I mean, I can see this one going either way, guys. But I must say, the Fresh Prince, Philip Roy here by KO, but I'm not confident at all, okay? And it's going to be in a small cage too, right? UFC Apex cage. So it's going to be the little cage. So if this Orion guy wants, he can just keep grinding for takedown. But he's going to gas himself up because Orion does get tired too. And Philip will look for the submission. And like I said, Philip's a slow starter, but once he start putting it on, he start letting his hands go. So I mean, we'll see what happens though. But I like Philip Roy for KO there. All right. Ryan Benoit versus, oh man, Zarrukh Adashev. I mispronounced that. Sorry for that. Bennett here is going to have the 3-inch of reach here, right? So that's a lot. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's going to be the more experienced guy here, in my opinion. If he mix up this fight, if Ryan mix up this fight and make it an MMA fight, he could win the fight, right? His opponent here, Adashev. Adashev is more of a kickboxer. You know, but I mean, he has some MMA fights, but he's more of a kickboxer. So not much MMA fights. So experience is going to be on Bennett's side, but it all depends on the game that Bennett comes in there with. If Bennett mixes it up, because Bennett can get takedowns and he can look for submissions. And with Adashev here, Adashev is a little bit more on a kickboxing vibe, so he wants to stand up, and he's pretty quick. His stand up is pretty clean. But this is MMA, so I mean, you can take down, you can look for submissions. He likes to dart in though, because of that short reach and height. He's 5'5", with a 65-inch reach, so he likes to sprint in and throw his overhands. There's some time when he does that and he kind of winds up with it and he misses, right? Let me see here. Yeah, so this guy is a pretty decent striker, but the ground game is probably there for him, but I mean, the more experienced guy and the more well-rounded guy is Ryan Bennett. So it all depends on the game planning now, which Ryan Bennett coming in. If Ryan Bennett gonna stand with him, He could probably beat him on the stand-up because of reach. But Adashev is a pretty good kickboxer, man, even though he didn't look too good in his debuts. But, I mean, it all depends on the person you're fighting, right? He didn't look too good against Majorisu, and Tyson Nam knocked him out counter right in the first round. So it all depends on the matchup, but I have to go with Bennett, man, just being a more well-rounded guy. And he could grind in this fight. He can put him against a cage. He can, if he come in here and make it an MMA match, he will win the fight. If he comes in here to try to straight up strike, it's gonna be a toss-up. So that is why I say majority of these fights are friggin' even, man. But I'm gonna go with Ryan Bennett. I'm gonna say Ryan Bennett by submission, guys. All right. Let's keep going here. We have Ashley Yonder versus Jinh Frey. I believe it's a short notice for Yonder. Yep. Because you're supposed to be Estela Nunes. Yoda here has a wrestling base on her. Her striking still needs some work though. I mean, she will land some punches and mix it up, but her chin, face is there to get hit. Doesn't really move her head, and just the movement and the timing is just, it still needs work. Like I said, I'm not here to disrespect any of these guys. I'm just, I guess you're gonna say it's just my opinion for what I see, just my breakdowns, because I've been doing this for a real long time. All right, so I have a lot of experience, man. I've been doing martial arts from I started martial arts when I was 4 years old. So, and just going by the age, you know, I'm basically 42 right now. So I'm going to be 43. So I have a lot of experience, a whole lot of experience. So over 38, 39 years of experience, all right? And this is like with everything, kickboxing, MMA, which entails Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, name it. And I competed with a lot of different people and spar a lot of people. I fought a lot of different people. A lot of gym fights. I go everywhere and train with everybody. So I have a lot of experience. So I know what I see. When I look at the person, I see how they move. I can tell right off the bat if the person has a good stand-up or not, just by the way how they move their feet. Because everything is from your footing, you know. It's not from you just throwing wild punches. How your movement, how your rhythm is. You know what I'm saying? And then from the rhythm, from your footwork, everything is going to execute from off of that movement. So, but as I said, Ashley Yonder is probably working on that, so she will get better, right? She will look for takedowns in this fight and definitely submissions. She's a BJJ black belt, and she's going to have the 4-inch of height and a 4-inch of reach. I noticed on this card there's a lot of guys with some long reaches and height, man. So she's going to have a massive height and reach over Frey, right? Her last fight against Angela Hill, I mean, it was back and forth slightly. And then she was getting the takedowns at the end of the round. But her record is kind of up and down, but she does have the experience. With her opponent here, Jinh, she will more push for striking too, more of a Muay Thai kind of vibe with her. And but she can get taken down though. She will also look for takedowns, but she gasses though. So if she consistently push her takedown, she will gas herself out. And she usually gas out right after the first round. Into the second, she start to fade. Let me see. She could be the more physically stronger person here, but that will also fade as the fight go on. She's also low volume, so she will just kind of move around in front of you and just don't really do much. She may land one punch, and just don't do much, right? Let me see here. Yeah, and then she slowed down after the first round, like which I mentioned, right? So this is a fight. If Yonder just pushes forward and keep the pressure on her, which Yonder does, I feel Yoda could win this fight. Yoda. I feel she could win this fight because just the consistent pressure. You know, she close the distance, which she don't even, well, in her case, I would probably advise her to, even though she has the height and reach, she has the 4 inches of reach and height, but her striking, I feel Jinh is the better striker here, even though she has the reach. But like I said, it all depends on what you do with it. If you're not a good of a skilled striker, you don't know how to set up from the outside, you don't know how to use your reach and height to your advantage, then the other person with the shorter reach is going to be the better striker who knows how to use it, right? And then also too, it's just the movement, timing, distancing and range. If you don't know how to set it up properly, It's just not going to happen. So she have to go to her strength, which is going to be the wrestling. So if she push forward and go for takedowns, takedown, she should be able to win this fight, man. Because she has a stronger wrestling base here, right? But striking toe-to-toe, I wouldn't really advise her to do that. You know, like I feel Jinh is a better striker here. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Yoda for the win here, but again, not confident in this one at all. And it could be like one of them split decision wins here, man. So Yoda by split decision, guys. All right. We got Danny Chavez versus Kaya Kamaka 3. I think Kaya Kamaka is a short notice too. Chavez here, man, this dude is quick. He's quick at the movement, man. Striking is well fast, and his corners are quick too. Has a striking base there, but will look for the takedowns too. I believe he's a BJJ black belt. I could be wrong about that. But he more pushes striking though. Got good leg kicks, got good combinations from the outside. Takedown defense is so-so. Depends on who he's fighting. Against Gerard Gordon, he was getting takedown, you know, later on in the rounds, like second, third round. He was starting to gas out. But with Chavez here, he can get kind of wild at times, and throws a lot of overhands. But he's quick with it, but it's kind of accurate, but sometimes it doesn't land. And when he does that, he burns himself out. So if he paces himself more in the first and then go into the second and kind of pick it up, I think that would be better for him. I think in the first he just goes out. He just goes all the way out. Like he throws everything like hard, like, you know, everything with power in the first, man. So if he paces himself and then take his time, you know, he could prolong. You know, he could carry his endurance into the other rounds if he doesn't finish the guy, right? Kamaka here. Kamaka is gonna have the 2-inch of reach on him. Also has a wrestling base there. But the thing about Kamaka, man, which I notice, you know, in a couple of his fights, even his old fights, he gets a lot of flash knockdowns. Like he gets dazed in the fights. It's like you can hit him and he gets just stumble over, right? I think he'd been knocked out twice, I believe. You know, so he looks like, some people say chinny, you know, but your face not meant to get hit. But some people can handle hits a little better. I feel with Kamaka here, if you touch him, he will probably go down, man. Because I see a lot of dazed knockdowns from him. And then he recover in the fight. He's been knocked out twice. So, and the way how he fights, it looks like, you know, he carry a lot of power, but he has no knockout, though. Most of his fights are by decision because he grind. So, for this one, man, in my opinion, if Chavez connects to him, I can see him going out, man. I mean, that is what I see, you know. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just, I feel like his chin, like he can't handle like a hit, and Chavez is a pretty quick guy. And Kamaka usually pushes forward and his chin is high up. And if Chavez catches him, he can go out. So I'm liking Chavez for this one, man. I know it's a short notice for Kamaka too, but I'm liking Chavez. I mean, I think Chavez could stop his takedowns, and Kamaka also will burn himself out. After the first round into the second, he starts to get tired, man. He starts to gas out. And gassing out against Chavez, a quick, athletic guy like Chavez with power and speed, timing, and striking is pretty decent. I don't think you want to do that. So I'm going to go with Chavez for the win here. And I'm going to say Chavez by KO/TKO, guys. Okay? And not too confident about this one. I'm kind of like up and down with it. You know, because I do feel like Kamaka could maybe edge out the wrestling if he grinds, but then if he does that, he's going to get tired. He's going to end up gassing himself out. So I like Chavez by KO/TKO, guys. Next fight here, we got Gruetzemacher versus Rafa Garcia. Chris here, man, this guy walks you down, takes a lot of damage, and he will look to take you down and submit you. And that's basically it. I mean, striking is basically to set up his wrestling, set up his takedowns, and then look for submission, right? His opponent here, Garcia, man. Garcia is a pretty durable dude, man. This guy went toe-to-toe with Nazareth Haparas, right? And he looks good against Nazareth, right? He kind of held his own. The fight went to a decision there. He will look for the ground and also look for the submissions. He's big on the submissions, right? He's well-rounded and also got a heavy overhand. So this is a guy that will time you and then come over the top and catch you with a punch. And we saw Chris in his last fight there. Last fight he got knocked out against Alexander Hernandez. But I feel I feel with Garcia, he can take this fight anywhere he wants. He can take the fight down. He can stand up if he wants to. He look for submission. He can even look for knockout. So I'm liking Garcia for this one. And this one is a confident one for me. And I must say Garcia by a submission, guys. All right. Next fight here, we have Collin Anglin versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It sounds like it. Collin here, his head kind of stays in center line. Right in the center line, doesn't really move his head well. He wants to strike though. And also he will take you down. But his head is like straight up, man. So this is a guy that wants to strike, but he rides his chin high, man. His head is just right there, dude. But he will also take you down. Against his opponent here though, Melsik. This guy's a wild dude, man. He will come in the first round and just give it all he got in the first, man. But then he will keep on going though. But then he will gas out in the later rounds though. But he will just come in there with straight power. Every shot he throws is just with power, man. Power in every shot. Will fade out in later rounds. He's a first round finisher though. And this guy wants to strike. And he can get the takedowns too, but he can get taken down also. So this is a fight here, man. If Collin rides his chin high and this guy comes in there, he's a first round finisher, and Collin has his chin high up like that, or Anglin has his chin up high like that, and he could get caught with a punch, man. So, and from what I see from Anglin, like I said, his striking is, I mean, there's holes, it's open, you know, cut the chin, and there's certain ways he move. I just favor Melsik striking a little better here. All right, so I'm gonna go with Melsik for the win here. I'm gonna say Melsik by KO TKO, guys, and I'm not too confident in this one either. It's a lot of fights over close, man. A lot of close fights here. Bryan Barberena versus Witt. Barberena here is gonna have a 2-inch of reach. He's gonna be the heavy hitter here, man. He's a very durable guy. He's well rounded. He also had back surgery, so that's something to look at. His takedown defense has gotten better too. So this is a guy that you could take down back in the days, but now he's like defending and scrambling back to his foot. Witt here, Witt, will look for the takedowns. Definitely look for the takedowns and the submissions. Striking needs work though. We saw there against Matt Smellersberger. He got counter right there. And then against Takashi Soto, he also got ground and pounded. So this is a guy here where it's kind of like, I mean, his debut just never really looked too great. Beat Cole Williams there by arm triangle choke. So this is a guy that wants to get you to the ground, and this is where he's going to look to take you, is to the ground. So he's going to look to ground out Bryan in this fight. But like I said, Bryan's been working in his takedown defense. But this one here, guys, is a very even fight in my opinion, because if Witt can take down Bryan and consistently doing it without getting caught by a punch, then Witt could win the fight. So this one, I'm not confident. But I must say Bryan, though, for the win here. And I must say Bryan by KO TKO. And I'm not confident, guys. Okay? Next fight here, we got Niklas Stolze versus Gooden. Niklas here, stand-up base. At times, he doesn't move his head as well. You can get him with shots in the center line there. Doesn't take his head off. He will look for the takedown, though. And overall movement, his jab, follow up with the straight, it looks okay, you know what I'm saying? It looks, this guy's a technical guy, but like I said, sometimes his head doesn't leave that center and you can catch him, right? His opponent here, Zarrukh, is going to have the 2-inch reach on him, which plays a factor, right? And any little bit of inch, man, you can use it to your advantage if you know how to use it, though, right? Zarrukh is well rounded here. He would take the fight to the ground. I believe he's a brown belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's heavy-handed and he's quick, but sometimes he winds up though and he misses a lot of shots. You can't do that against Niklas, because with Niklas gonna pop that jab on you and keep that jab in your face, right? He also Zarrukh gets flash knockdowns, so you can hit him and hurt him, and then he goes against a cage, but then he will recover though, right? So he gets dazed in the fight a lot, and like I said, he gets wild. And as the fight go on, he gets more wilder. So he starts throwing over hands, kind of loses composure, kind of start getting a little bit sloppy. But again, it's still a dangerous guy because he's well-rounded and he has the power, right? And like I said, with Niklas, his chin is kind of high up too, and also with Gooden is kind of open for shots too, right? So, but for this one, man, I'm liking Niklas for the win here, and I'm gonna say Niklas by decision, guys. I'm not confident. So a lot of these fights are close. 'Cause a lot of these guys are like, you know, they had the debut, the loss, you know what I'm saying, and that's majority of the card. So it's kind of hard to like say, okay, this guy's gonna do this and this. You know, it's very difficult, right? And with Jarrah has never won his fights yet, at least in the UFC. You know, both fights he lost. So next fight here. Let's see. We have Gloria de Paula versus Cheyanne Buys. Paula here is going to have a 2-inch of height and a 4-inch of reach. So she's going to have the massive reach and height in this fight. She can get taken down and she will also look for takedowns too. She wants to strike in this fight, but she will take it to the ground also, right? Her opponent here, Buys striking looks decent, man. And Paula striking looks decent too. But I think Buys striking may be a little more cleaner, a little more accurate with the strikes, right? And she will also look for takedowns too, but she can get taken down herself too. So this is a fight where it's going to be most likely a stand-up fight. But Paula going to have the 4-inch reach, and technically wise, movement and timing. And like I said, even though you have the reach, you know, all depends if you're able to can use it though. Because a person with a shorter reach may be a better striker and know about how to strike and know about the movement more than you do who has 4-inch reach, but you just don't know how to use it. And the person with the short reach is hitting you from the outside. Right? So I just feel Buys, her technique is maybe a little better. So this is a fight where it's a toss-up too, guys. This one is very, very even. Pretty much a straight-up even. So I'm going to go with Buys for this one, but I'm not confident. And I'm going to say Buys by decision. All right. Next fight here, we got Kyung Ho Kang versus Ronnie Yaya. All right. Kang here is going to have, again, 3-inch of height and 5-inch of reach. Like I say, a lot of these guys are going to have massive reach over their opponents, but it all depends if you know how to use it. You know, you're supposed to win with that reach, man. He will look for submissions, man, and most of the time submission is his thing. But he's well-rounded, and I feel he's more well-rounded than Yahya as far as the striking is concerned. The ground, though, Yahya is a BJJ black belt. I don't think Kang is a black belt, but on the stand-up, though, I give Kang the edge because of the reach and height, and Kang just looks better on the foot, right? Yahya looks like sometimes he's striking and he's just, you know, it looks like a fish out of water. And sometimes he will connect with a good leg kick, but he just looks like he can't put it together correctly. You know, he gets frustrated, or you know, and a punch hit him, and he's like, he's just frustrated, and then he goes for takedown. But this is a fight where Kang has to be careful because if he's pushing for takedowns, Yahya will lock up a submission on him. So this is a fight where it's a tough one, and Kang hasn't fought since 2019. But he's going to be the better striker here, and his ground is legit. I believe majority of his fights are by submission. So this is a fight where you have Kang here with, I think, 11 submissions and 2 by knockout, and you have Yahya with friggin' 20 odd submissions, and I believe 0 by knockout. So if fight starts standing up, smaller cage, Kang gonna have the massive freaking reach. It's 5 inches. If he's able to can keep Yahya on the outside, he could beat him. He could beat him in this fight. And Kang can defend takedowns because he knows the ground. So that's the thing about this fight. You know, if he can keep it long, which he can, because his striking is not bad. That's the reason why I'm gonna go for Kang. But I'm not confident though because Yahya is a veteran and Yahya is a pretty good fighter, man. So can go anywhere, guys. But I'm gonna go with Kang for the reach, and he has the ground, and he knows how to submission, and he knows how to submit, and he's been submitted only one time, and I believe Yahya been only submitted one time too. So yeah, and Kang been submitted only once. So he doesn't want to tie up on the ground with Yahya in this fight because it's not going to favor him there. He wants to stay on the outside with that long reach, and he can use it because I watch all these fights and I see how he moves. And he has a jab, he can move around and pop the shots. And Yahya is going to have to like jump in or dart in just to get a hold of him or take him down, which is going to put more pressure on Yahya because then he has to work harder, right? So I'm going to go with Kang. I'm going to say Kang by decision, guys. Not confident, though. That was co-main event. Main event, Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. Man, this is a fight here too, man. This entire card, guys, is very difficult. And the matchups... The matchups are, you know, like Hall is on a 4-5 winning streak. Before then, he was on like, he lose one win, then he lose. So and then it's difficult, man. I mean, Hall is a pretty good striker, and you know, he's a pretty good dude. I mean, but you know, there's sometimes he come into the fight and then he won't perform. You know, he say mental. He even admit, he says sometimes his mental is mine, which is, you know, it's fine. You know, it's not an easy sport to get into, man. To go in there and punch people and kick them and knock them out and submit them, it's not easy to do that. Your mind has to be on your mindset, your mental state has to be in a specific place to actually do that. You have to lock in. You have to lock everything in, and you can't have doubts in yourself. You have to be confident in what you're doing, and you have to always be on point. You can't come in there and doubt yourself. The minute you doubt yourself in there, you're going to get knocked out or submitted, or you lose a fight. So, but with Hall, sometimes his mental state is up and down, and he admitted. So, I mean, before in the Anderson Silva fight here, yeah, he was losing the fight until, again, in the 4th round. So, if this is the fight going to be a 5-round fight. So it probably could work out in his favor because of 5-round fight. So it could work out in his favor, meaning that, you know, it took him up to 4 rounds. So, but again, you know, which Uriah Hall going to come into this fight? The one that's going to mentally be on point, or the one that's not? So it's kind of difficult. And the Chris Weidman fight that ended real quick because Chris Weidman broke his leg off of the first kick, the first move in the fight, right? The Antonio Carlos Jr., see that Jr. was winning the entire fight, and until he came back. And the same thing with Bevon Lewis. So with the Hall, man, he's a slow starter, and sometimes his mind is not there until he wakes up. And that's, you know, it's difficult. You don't know when he's going to wake up. So striking base can get taken down. Sometimes he's on, and sometimes he's off. Just being honest, guys. I'm not disrespecting the man. I'm just saying it how it is. I could say my opinion. You know, enough respect to all the guys that come in here and put their health on the line. Your health is a wealth, and this sport is a dangerous sport. Dangerous sport. You can get injured. You get brain damage. You can break your limbs. Right? He's gonna have a 2-inch of reach in this fight. Like I said, if Uriah Hall is on all the time, obviously because he has his skills. He mentally he's on and off, but he has the skills though. Kyokushin karate, he has his skills. He has, and he's athletic and he's quick and everything, but then his mind. And remember, mental is what? Mental is 90%, and the other 10% is a preparation. So if your mind ain't right, you can know all the movements you want and everything, and you just won't be able to use it when the moment comes. That's just what it is, man. Strickland here, he's always on point. He come in here and just let his hands go. He ride his chin kind of high at times, though. He's well-rounded and will take the fight to the ground. Does ride his chin high, but will look for takedowns and look for submission. So I believe that Strickland is a more well-rounded guy here. And even though he hasn't been fighting as much, I wouldn't say as much as Uriah Hall, but let me see, probably not as consistent. He didn't fight in 19 because I believe he got injured or something like that, broke his leg or something. Been pretty consistent here and there, but you can tell by his wins, he's just been winning. He's not up and down. And with Sean Strickland, he ride his chin high, but then he has a jab on him. And once he gets the flow going, usually gets it a little bit later on in the round. In the first round, he's trying to figure it out, but later on in the round, he will start letting it go. It's kind of like a Nate Diaz kind of vibe there. You know, the punches in bunches. He's just start bop, 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 and then the jab, he set up the straight from there, and then he go body, then he go hook. And he's a pretty heavy hitter. And he has a mental. He's not going to break like that, and he will keep coming forward. Hall will break. So it's a fight here where, again, enough respect to everybody here, enough respect to these guys. Hall could win. You know, Hall could catch him with his chin up. Five rounds. And like I said, in the 4th round, Hall knocked out Anderson Silva. So this could be one of those things where Hall take him to the later rounds and beat him. Or it could be one of those things where Strickland take down Hall and just submit him. Which I want to say Hall. I think Hall been knocked out more than he's been submitted. I want to say. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Okay, he's never been submitted. Okay, my bad, but he's been knocked out 4 times. So, yeah, he has 13 by KO TKO, and Strickland, I believe, has 11 or 10. Or 10, okay, and he has 4 by submissions, right? So this is a guy that can take the fight anywhere he wants, man. So from what I see from Hall's performances, is just, I mean, he could win. I'm not taking anything away from him. He could win, and he has a chance to win. He has the skills to win and everything like that, but the mental. And that's the key factor here. Mind controls everything, man. If the mind ain't right, nothing gonna fire, man. So I'm gonna go with Strickland for the win here. I'm gonna say Strickland by KO TKO, guys, but I ain't confident at all because Strickland had his chin high, and in that first round, sometimes he's kind of sloppy. He's trying to, find his distance and timing right, his reach right, and his footing, and then sometimes his chin is up there. And when he punches, sometimes he leave his technique out there. And if Hall can pick up on that, which in my opinion, like I said, Hall is a better striker. Hall is a more technical dude on the foot, standing up. On the ground, though, I give it to Strickland. That's why Strickland is more well-rounded, but Strickland has the punches too. All right? So, yeah, so Strickland by KO TKO, guys. I'm not confident, okay? Quick look at the odds here, guys. See what we're working with here. See what we're working with. Where we at? So, okay, so refresh that real quick. Okay, so they got, or hold on there. So they have Orion, okay, as a favorite. Yeah, man, honestly, man, Philip Roy and Philip Roy and Orion, this is an even fight. Even fight because yeah, Orion could come in there and grind him out for a win. It's possible, but Orion get tired. Rory gonna have the reach advantage. Massive reach advantage. And if he puts it together, he can pull his fight off. And then also he has the ground. He has a submission game. And we see Orion throws a lot of punches and he misses a lot. So if Philip can lock on to that or lock into that and tune into it, use the footwork, find the distance in the range, stay on the outside, and move around, he could win this fight. But it's the pressure. It's the pressure is going to be the problem for Rory. Once you keep pressuring him, it looks like he doesn't do well. But I like Rory though, but to be honest, man, it's a close fight. So I can see Orion winning too, guys. That's why I say it's an even fight. So I disagree with the odds. Yoder and Jinh. They have Yoda as favorite. Yeah, I could see that. But again, this is an even fight for me because I feel like Jinh can also win this fight depending on what Yoda wants to do. If Yoda wants to stay out there and try to strike with her, it may not work out. If she goes for wrestling now, go for takedown, then there you go. So this is an even fight here. So I disagree with both of these odds here. Alright. I do have Yoda winning though. Okay, Chavez and Kamaka, exactly. See, this is an even fight. Totally agree with that one. Garcia and Chris. Alright. This is my confident. And Garcia is a 300. Okay. Slightly high, but I have him as a confident pick. So he could probably be maybe 190. But I feel like he could beat Chris. He could take this fight anywhere he wants to. Okay. So this one I don't disagree with, but I wouldn't parlay it too much or I wouldn't play it so much. All right. Just in case, because you never know. Upsets happen all the time. Anything is possible in this game, guys. All right. Collin and Melsik. All right. Got Melsik as favorite, which I have Melsik winning. Yeah, I don't disagree with this one, man. I feel Melsik most likely is going to catch him. That's some 135. Yeah, close to even. Close to even. Melsik being favorite. I mean, I don't disagree. All right. Barberena and Jason Witt. Oh man, Bryan is freaking massive in this one, man. I disagree with this one, and I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Because with Bryan, his takedown defense has gotten better, but he can still get taken down. And if Jason Witt comes in here with just wrestling and don't try to strike too much, avoid it, just use your striking for takedown, he could beat Bryan. So this is a fight here where it's for Bryan being negative 255 all the way around. I'll be very careful with this one, man. This is a close to even fight, right? Because if Witt can get those takedowns, yeah, Bryan may stop one or two, but how I know he's going to stop all of them. And also he's coming off a back surgery, so that plays a factor. His back is not, once you have back surgery and certain kind of surgeries, you're never the same, man. Even though you may feel okay, but there's certain things you may not try to do as much because you feel like you may tweak something. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be as free like you would be to do certain things, in my opinion, right? Especially back surgery. Yeah, so be careful with this one, guys. I do have Bryan winning, but the odds on it is too high, so be careful. Ryan Bennett and Adashev. I do have Ryan Bennett winning, and I believe he should win, but which is close to even. So yeah, but right. So this fight is a little bit close to even, which I agree with it. So these odds I agree with. Only one thing though, Ryan Bennett, sometimes he may drop the ball. So remember that. So be careful with this one, but it's a close to even. So I actually agree with it. Okay. Gerard Gooden and Niklas. Sure, they got Niklas pretty high. I wouldn't sleep on Gooden, guys. I would have Niklas a little bit more closer. But Niklas being a favorite, but not at 200. So be careful with this one. All right. Buys and Gloria. Wow, they got Buys freaking high, dude. I disagree. Because both women are slightly kind of similar. But I just feel Buys' technique or precision in striking at time is a little better. But I wouldn't have her 170 something. This fight is a complete even fight. So be very careful with this one. All right. Kang and Yahya. Totally agree. Even. Totally agree. Even fight. Totally agree. Can go anywhere. Strickland and Hall. They have Strickland as a pretty high favorite, which I really don't disagree with. I mean, it's all in the mental state, and the mental ain't right. Everything is going to crumble. But I wouldn't sleep on a Hall, though. You know what I'm saying? Because Hall could land that one punch, or maybe that one kick. Strickland does ride his chin high, dude. It takes one punch, and you're out. Strickland been knocked out before. So this fight here, I'd be careful, and I would say it's an even fight. I think Strickland's a little bit too high, because a Hall will surprise you. It all depends on which Hall come in. So you just can't tell. That's why for Strickland to be so high, you can't really put him so at 200 and 225, you know, because Hall could come in here and surprise you, and it's a 5-round fight. Even fight, guys. Hall could win. All right. I disagree with it. So I disagree with the Strickland and Hall. I disagree with the Buys. I disagree with the Gooden and Niklas. Actually, I disagree with Niklas. It could be a little lower. I disagree with Barberena. I disagree with the other fight. Could be more of an even fight. That is, man. And definitely the Rory and the Orion. I disagree with that one. That's an even fight. So a couple fights are kind of off on the odds. So be very careful. Also check out my Patreon account, guys. I'm going to drop the props over there right about now. Probably next hour or so. Also I'm going to drop the face-off over there also. Also have to drop the face-off for the Bellator too, because I haven't done that yet. And also some props for the Bellator and some combination plays. And I think that's about it. So if you haven't signed up to the Patreon account, please sign up, because a lot of the plays I'm over there be hitting. All right. And also give me some likes and thumbs up, man. All right. I need some more subscription. Need some more love. Enough respect out to the guys out there. Enough respect to everybody. One love to everybody. You guys keep on kicking. Os.